Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. As long as we consider ourselves to be a finite entity, the fear is bound to be. There is no fear only in the infinite, because infinite plus minus anything continues to be infinite. Where there is no possibility of addition and subtraction, that experience alone is fearless experience. All other experiences are fearful. How do these experiences begin fearful? We may have fear before going to sleep in a new place. But once we sleep, there is no fear. So, what is that because of which the whole world begins? So, our experience is the moment we identify with anything finite, we separate ourselves from the totality. And then the minority philosophy and politics begins. See? Have you heard Kerala Samajam in Kerala? Have you heard Maharashtra Mandal in Maharashtra? Have you heard Gujarati Sangha in Gujarat? No. But the moment you go out of Maharashtra, you will see in Bombay Maharashtra Mandal. You go out of Kerala, you will say Kerala Samajam. Why? There is a finite entity. And where there is fear, there is togetherness. See? Before independence, why Indians were together? Because there was a fear. So, this finite identification is the beginning of all the tragedies in life. Now, what is that where we are caught up in our life? We are caught up starting from our upadhi conditionings. Which are those conditioning? Mano buddhi chittani hankara naham na cha shrotra jivve na cha grhana netre na cha vyoma bhumi na tejo na vayu. So these are the things where we get caught up. Either we are our mind, antakaran chatushtay, or we consider ourselves to be our senses, or we consider ourselves to be the life that is expressed through the body. Life is an expression, it is not the ultimate. So, na cha prana sanyo na panchavayu na saptadhatu na panchakoshaha. So when we thus start disidentification from the gross body, the subtle body, the panchakoshas, etc., then what will happen? Their modifications will not be my modifications. See, when I see my body fat, I consider I am fat. But when I look at another fat person, I don't consider myself to be fat because I am not that body. So the moment identification takes place, the modifications also become ours. And therefore, to remove that, name dvesha ragau name lobha mohau mado naiva me naiva matsarya bhavaha. For the finite alone there is dharma, artha, kam, moksha. For the finite alone there are all the struggles in life. And when we struggle, then there is a sin and merit and joy and sorrows, and the struggle is in the form of going to the holy places, going to some places and studying. All these things are pertaining only to the relative existence. Now about this I'll tell you a small story. Like I am staying in Suman's house here, I was staying somewhere in India, somebody's house, and they had one grandchild, awfully terrible grandchild. So wherever he comes from, he will drop in my room. Swamiji, what are you doing? So I never used to talk to him, because the moment you talk, he will start climbing on your head and playing with your beard and all kinds of things. So I used to keep away from him. One day somebody came and left some material in the house. Because nobody was there, he said, Swamiji, if you don't mind, I'll leave these things here, neighbors will come and collect it. Otherwise I'll have to again take it and bring it back. I said, okay, keep it in that corner. They kept. The next house was that of a pujari. So a lot of puja sahitya was there, and in one bottle there was oil. It was kept. Now this devil came. The moment he came, he entered my room. Swamiji, what are you doing? I didn't talk. Then he immediately took the review and he saw something new. He went and started fiddling what is that. And in that the whole bottle, under all the carpet was soiled. Very comfortably he got up and he looked at me. And I was pretending that I am not looking at him. He got up and he saw that I had not done it, not seen him. From there, without moving, he shouted, Dadima, please come. See what our Kalpana has done. Kalpana was their maid servant. Straight, bold lie. See what Kalpana has done. She has spoiled our carpet. She has spoiled the whole oil here. Come and see. Dadima came. And she started scolding that maid servant. I had nothing to do because I had to stay in that house. I was ekdam Sakshi Chaitanya. But one thing I have learned from that, because I told you, the process of spiritual sadhana is you have to learn from every experience. So what I learned, I said, even the child knows. If I have done this, I will be punished. So what is the best way? Don't claim doership. It has happened, no doubt. Then the question will come, fixing the responsibility. Who has done that? Kalpana has done. So she should be punished. And I am relieved. In the same manner, as long as we have this doership, and doership is not God's creation. Please understand. We have this wrong notion. We can do this, we can do that. And because of that, the whole samsara begins. Punya, papa, dharma, adharma, everything. And when I consider myself to be a limited being, like a body, then I will have the fear of death. So now the last two verses. न मृत्युर्न शंका न मे जाति भेदः पिता नैव मे नैव माता न जन्म न बंधुर्न मित्रं गुरुर्नैव शिष्यः चिदानंद रूप शिवोहम शिवोहम. Now see, when we talk about death and fear of death, and every time this is the same question repeated. Swamiji, what happens after death? Now what reply can you give? We will burn you, bury you, depending upon what you are. No. What happens after death? There will be a holiday in the office. See? We are concerned about death, not about life. What is happening while living? Nothing. After death also nothing will happen. Now when we talk about death, just be very sincere to your own experience. In our childhood, we all have gone through this. We were given milk and the milk was hot and we burned our mouth. Thereafter, even buttermilk is given. The child says, because the earlier experience. Now we have the fear of death. On what ground? We have no experience of death. So it is only imaginary fear. See? Similarly, we have no experience of birth. Somebody tells us this is your mom. So you just believe it blindly without any logic. And then that lady tells you this is your dad. That is also only you have to believe. There is no choice. See? Because we never have had the experience of either birth or death. Then what is born, what is dying is the body. And when I consider myself to be the body, and when I see other bodies dying, then I imagine this body will also die and I will be miserable. Therefore, what is required is correcting our identity. And for correcting our identity, our thinking has to change. Therefore, in yesterday's meditation, we have seen how the present concept is I am inside the body, and everything which is outside the body is not me. And all that is inside the body I love. I have no hatred. But anything which is other than me outside the body is a point of hatred, disliking, etc. So as long as this concept of in and out is, samsara will continue. In deep sleep, this concept is over. We are neither inside the body nor inside the house. We are, that's it. And therefore there is no samsara. See? Therefore our present understanding I am in the body has to be corrected. Whether I am in the body or the body is in me. See the difference? That is why when we look at electricity, all the time going through the wires, we imagine electricity is, like this long. But it is not. It is power. It is energy. It doesn't have shape, size, weight, etc. In the same manner, this conscious existence can be practiced only as the conscious space. Now, like everything is in the space, in the same manner, all our experiences, waking, dream and deep sleep. Waking experience begins with the identification with the gross body. Dream experience begins when identification with the modification of the mind. Deep sleep experience begins when there is identification with the absence of the earlier two experiences. But in and through all these experiences, there is one common denominator called as the conscious existence, which is supporting all these experiences. That Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. See, therefore, Name Mrityu Shanka, I have no doubt whether I am going to die or not die. The death is an impossibility. When the death occurs, what happens? The five elements of which the body is made, they are released, go back. Therefore, when a candle is burned, nothing is lost. Then the second step comes. If you consider yourself to be Jiva, then you will be born again in the next life to be married to the same lady. So you don't die. If you consider yourself to be the Parabrahma Paramatma, there is no question of death. So whichever way you try, you cannot die. See? जीने भी नहीं देती, मरने भी नहीं देती. Once you and this is all has to be understood. You don't have to do anything. See? Therefore, Name Mrityu Shanka. I do not have even a doubt about whether I am dying or what. No. Death is an impossibility. Name Mrityu Shanka. Then, Name Jati Bhedaha. Jati means form. Jati is a technical word. Jati doesn't mean Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Jati means Manushya Jati, Pashu Jati, Vanaspati Jati, Pakshi Jati. Jati means the shape, forms. Name Jati Bhedaha. Differences are always because of the form. Words are different because they have a form. Silence is common because it is formless. See? Ornaments have differences, but gold is without any difference. Because of the body, we are different, but principally we are the same reality. Therefore, na me mrityu shanka, na me jati bhedaha. Then, pita naiva me naiva mata na janma. Now here, you'll have to be very clear about this. In Bhagavad, there is one story. There was a king, and Bhagavad stories are the inspiration for all the Hindi movies. So, there was a king, and he had 100 wives. Then, he had no children. So, standard format. And therefore, if you don't have children, you are miserable. So, you have children, you are miserable. You don't have your children, you are miserable. Because to be miserable is your fate. So when you don't have children, you start struggling. And then this king went to a Mahatma. Mahatma, I don't have children, please bless me. Mahatma said, you are lucky, therefore you don't have children. Don't worry. No, I don't want your Vedanta. I want the children. I want the children. He said, okay, let me read your face. And he reads his face. Not only in this life, next 7 lives you are not going to have children. Oh Ram, don't say that. I will not leave, and started. Okay, take this mango and you will get a mango brand child. Give it to your youngest wife. And the fruit is given, and the wife conceives, and the child is born. Now when the child is born, do you think the other 99 queens will keep quiet? See, they will not keep quiet. So what they will do? They will have terrible jealousy, because other name of woman is jealousy. As much lady is an enemy of lady, man is never that much enemy of lady. So they are made an association. After this child has come, the king has stopped even visiting us. Even doesn't talk to us because of the child. So why not finish him? Then their maid servant is tipped, and she gives the poison to the child, and the child dies. When the child dies, then naturally what will happen? So husband and wife both are dying, crying there. That time, like Hindi cinema, Naradji, dang, he comes. After he comes, along with that, the same saint because of whom the child was born, he also comes. The saint says, I told you, now you are miserable because you don't have children, and then you will be miserable because you have children. Because misery is a common denominator. No, I don't remember anything. My child is. Naradji says, don't worry, I'll make the child alive. So Naradji, by his yogic powers, he enlivens. He calls the jiva. He doesn't enliven the body. He calls the jiva. Jiva comes. The story is very beautiful. Naradji says, hey jiva, you enter this body and make your parents happy, because it is the duty of the children to make the parents happy. This whole kingdom is yours. Everything will be good. Jiva Uvacha, this is Jiva Gita. Jiva says, which parents? In every birth I had one few fresh pair of parents. Like every day we have fresh pair of socks. Now if I keep on crying because of the parents, I will have no joy in my life. Therefore, if they don't understand, let them not understand. Because parents do not create the jiva. Like we invest in the property, build the house, the tenant is not created by the house owner. The what that tenant will do in that house, whether he will have disco or discourse, that is his personal choice. In the same manner, his mother, father, etc., is okay when you are in KG1, KG2, Matrudevo, Bhava, Pitrudevo. It's okay. Do all that, is all required. But when you come to the reality, then you will come to know that in this absolute conscious existence, bodies are born and they are repeated, reproduced, and it goes on and on and on. See, if there are two mirrors and the sun is reflecting in the two mirrors, if there are 100 mirrors and the sun is reflecting in the 100 mirrors, will it be a burden for the sun to reflect in the 100 mirrors? No. Whether there is 1 or 100, it makes no difference. In the same manner, for the conscious existence to express through millions of bodies as mind, thereby enlivening the body, this is just a phenomena. Now see, this light which appears in the bulb, is this light the child of electricity? And when the bulb will become fused, light will not be there. Will electricity start crying? No. Will that bulb every morning, when the moment switch on, कराग्रे वसते लक्ष्मी कर मध्ये सरस्वती करमूले तु गोविंदः प्रभाते कर दर्शनम aha. See, therefore, this mother, father, etc., these are only required for conducting the business of life. This is the virtual reality. It's not actual. Because what parents produce is only the body. And in that body, the consciousness can express as mind and the body becomes enlivened. See? That is why the more you contemplate on this, you will see that we live with everybody and yet we are not influenced by anybody. Pita naiva me mata na janma, and therefore na bandhur na mitram gurur naiva shishyaha. Then there is nobody as a friend or an enemy in this world. It is only because of some kind of business we have, we become friends of or enemies of somebody. Otherwise there is nothing like that. And Gurur Naiva Shishyaha. Similarly, Guru Shishya, this is only an adjustment for learning. See? Therefore, no wise man ever accepts himself to be a guru and goes on giving the diksha and climbs himself on a very big pedestal. Now, my dear children, if you go to any other Mahatma for Satsang, that will be a great Guru Droha and you will go to hell. Guruji, if I will go to hell, will you also come there? Because without you I cannot live. The one who threatens you to go to hell cannot be the Guru. See? The mother cannot think of doing any bad to her own child. Much more closer is the relationship between the Guru and the Shishya. Because, be very attentive. What is the reason? The reason is, once Ramakrishna Paramahamsa called our Vivekananda, and Vivekananda came and said that you are so much attached to me. Are you getting into samsara or what? Because if I come to you, I can understand. But you are sending a message and calling me. I think you are getting in a trap of attachment. Thakurji, be careful. You know what Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said? He said, my dear child, you accept me as your Guru and a great Mahatma on the strength of ignorance, suspicion and doubt. But I know what you are. My love for you is not out of ignorance, suspicion, and doubt. My love for you is out of knowing what you are, I know. You don't know what you are. See the difference. And when the Guru comes to know, or he knows, that the disciple is none other than the same Parabrahma Paramatma, will he ever have a biased treatment? It cannot be. See? So only Vyavahar, when there is a transaction, that time it is okay. But in reality, this duality has no meaning. Therefore, like Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, Vishwam pashyati karya karanataya swaswami sambandataha shishyacharyataya tathaiva pitru putradhyatmana bhedataha. The whole world is born the moment we emphasize cause and effect as reality. And what is the cause and effect? Then the Swami and the servant, the Shishya and the Acharya, the parent and the children. And this is how the whole samsara begins. Therefore, na bandhur na mitram gurur naiva shishyaha. Therefore, when we are in dream, there we have got separate wives, separate children, separate problems. In deep sleep, none of them are there. Now, which is the one which is real? On the basis of this, Ashtavakra Gita was born. On the basis of this, Janaka inquired. One day he went for a walk in the afternoon, had nice food somewhere, and a nice breeze below a tree he was lying down. A royal king. And he dreamed. And he is a beggar, and there is a terrible poverty, famine, no food to eat. And there was a rich man distributing free puri and sabji. He was also standing in the queue. And when his time came, he just took it. And one dog bounced and took the chapati from his hand and started running. And he started running after the dog, and he fell down, and his dream was broken. Then he started asking to himself, who am I? Am I King the Janaka dreaming that I was a beggar, or am I a beggar dreaming that I am a king? See? Because nobody dreams the dream as a dream. We say it is a dream only after we are awake, not during the dream. Think. Therefore, the whole world is nothing but cause and effect, and cause and effect is only existing in mind. And how it is existing in the mind? By establishment of a sequence. Cause is in the earlier period of time, effect is in the later period of time. So earlier is cause, later is effect. And thus the concept of time is born. That is why one of the best spiritual practices is to stay in the present. The moment you stay in the present, your past and future is erased, and only in the present mind cannot exist. See? And just observe, do we have a choice to stay in the past or to stay in the future? We have no choice. We can live and exist only in the present. But then what we do? In the present, we bring the past, the load on the head, and when we have a load on the head, we can never be happy. See? Similarly, we keep on projecting about the unborn future and go away from the present, because in the present alone there is no tense. tenseless present is presence. That presence is the reality. See? Therefore, all these things, mother, father, children, guru, shishya, brother, friends, these are all existing only in relation to each other. So when all these things disappear, we still continue to exist. See? In our deep sleep experience, whatever may be our love for our child, the mother is no more a mother. See? Observe this very closely. The first thing that happens, body identification, I is born, gross world begins. Then we are tired of the gross world, but the momentum of the mind has not stopped, so we go to sleep, and then the mind starts dreaming, and we get identified with those dreams, and we think we are a dreamer. That also the mind gets tired. Then the mind quietens. And what is the quietening of the mind? Past and the future is blocked. When the past and the future is blocked, you are in the utter present. Remaining in the utter present is spiritual practice. See, that is why the more you start practicing this consciously, the more we will understand the meaning of this Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Now, after having come to this point, then who is this Chidananda? What is the meaning of the Chit Ananda Rupa? Now that is explained in the last verse. Aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupo vibhutvacha sarvatra sarvendriyanam nacha sangatam naiva muktir nameyaha Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. So, first, aham nirvikalpaha. Vikalpa means option. कौन बनेगा करोड़पति? The President of United States is one, Lalu Prasad, B, L.K. Advani, C, Osama bin Laden, and D, George Bush. D, George Bush. Lock कर दे? कर दे. Computer जी, हाँ, you have won 1000. Dumb question, dumb answer. 1000. These are vikalpa, options. Now here, aham nirvikalpaha. What are the vikalpa? Once I went to somebody's house in USA, like this. The moment you enter, there was a big wall. And then you can go in the house from the left and the right. There was no front like that. Frontage was only big wall. And there, that family has fixed pictures of their son. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 18 pictures. The same height way. Like a bar diagram of the statistics. So when I entered, I saw that and I was going. My interest was only in eating. So, Swamiji, did you see that? I said, yes. How do you like it? I said, it's very good. What else can I say? So finish it up quickly. Do you know what it is? I said, no. And I am not interested. So, no, this is our son's photograph. And then I had to wait because I had to take food. So they explained. When he was first year, then second year, third year, I said, where is he? Is he here or he has gone out? He's here. So call him. He came. Then I asked him, I said, hey, you tell me, out of these, which you think you are? They are all yours? Yes. So be very attentive. Can we think of Mahatma Gandhi as a young person? The moment Mahatma Gandhi means, 5 question marks come in front of us. First question mark, his head. Second question mark, his stick. Third question mark, his glasses. Fourth question mark, his ear. And fifth question mark, his nose. 5 question marks assembled together is Mahatma Gandhi, isn't it? Can you think of Vivekananda as an old, dilapidated person? You cannot. Now we are alive. 70, we have our image about ourselves. 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, 1, 6 months. Now these are so many images about ourselves. Now out of these images, which is we? These are all vikalpa. See? Aham nirvikalpaha. There is no vikalpa. What is no vikalpa? We have no doubt that I am the same. The body has changed. The conditions have changed. But we neither have the experience of our birth, growth, or decay or death. We cannot have. This unmodifying, unchanging reality has to be only recognized. Aham nirvikalpo. Now, after having learned this word, now second word. Nirakara rupo. In every akar, there is vikar. And in every vikar, you require samskar. Isn't it? And what is the samskar? Yesterday we went to Manju's house and she was getting ready. I want to get ready. What I should put on, all that. Okay, you put on this. The mummy told. Mummy said, you do your hair properly. No, they are all right. So I said, not like that. You should bring them in front. Now they are. So we think that they are not properly done. But for that child, that is the best kind of hairstyle. Look here. So we keep on imagining this is good, that is good, only with reference to the form. So nirakara rupo. Akara does not have any obsession, any form. Nirakara. Akara alone creates all the differences. Now see, for example, akara doesn't mean only the shape. Sound is created. Sound remains for some time. Sound ends after some time. Sounds are separated by the silence. If there is no silence between the words, there cannot be many words. See? So, we have many sounds because they are intercepted by the silence. But we don't have many silences. Silence is one. And this one silence is uncreated. See? Therefore, aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupo. We are all sitting different shapes and different forms. In between the space which has separated us from each other, the space has no shape. Therefore, when we take this stand, that we are Chidakasha Rupa. Chidakasha Rupa means knowledge. Chidakasha means knowledge as space. So knowledge as space means what? Waking one experience with a form. Dream another experience with a form. Deep sleep another experience with a form. But the formless knowledge is Chidakash, in which the waking jumps up, stays and goes away. Dream comes and goes. Deep sleep comes and goes. So this Aham Nirvikalpo Nirakara Rupo. This is one of the methods given in Vijnana Bhairav. There is one text. I got my commentary on that in Hindi. There are 112 methods of meditations. And there it is explained that you do this dharana. Like you sit quiet, and after you sit quiet, slowly start deleting the parts of your body. Like we do in our computer. Take one file, highlight, delete. Take second file, delete. And when you start deleting one by one, after what remains? Only the monitor space. Now this is one technique. When you sit quiet, slowly start one by one. First of all, remove the head. Say you are without a head. The shape of the head will be erased. Then you are without the shoulders, then the hands, then the lungs, the heart. Go downward slowly. You'll come to know that you continue to exist without a particular form or a shape. Is it not our experience in the deep sleep? There we don't have any shape. There we don't have any form. Because the mind is merged in the infinite. Therefore, Nirvikalpo Nirakara Rupo. Now, to make this thing clear, one more data is given. Vibhutvacha sarvatra sarvendriyanam. Now see this way. Our eyes can see, they cannot walk. Our legs can walk, they cannot see. So when the eyes see, the legs walk properly and life is conducted. And where their coordination takes place? In the mind. So mind has eyes, ear, nose, tongues, then legs, hands, everything is contained in the mind. All of them are in the mind. But the eyes in the mind can express only through the structural eye. The Granendriya in the mind can be expressed only through the nose. In the same manner, in this conscious existence, all the senses are contained. And whatever kind of upadhi, conditioning is fixed, that kind of expression comes out. See? Like electricity, you fix in one socket a red bulb, in another socket green bulb, in third socket musical instrument, in fourth socket a heater, in the fifth socket fridge. So all these potentialities are dormant in the electrical energy, but they find expression in a particular gadget. In the same manner, this conscious existence expressing through the man expresses as manliness, the same conscious existence expressing through a snake as the poison, the same conscious existence expressing through the cow as milk. It is one and the same. Think. Therefore, when we are told in our meditation, discard the colors and forms, come to the eyes, then discard the eyes and come to the mind, then discard the mind, come to the intellect, the knower, then discard this intellect, the knower, come to the consciousness. This consciousness you are. Now what is our understanding? Swamiji, वो तो सब ठीक है. I have to understood that I am consciousness, but people don't understand. Is the problem. If you have recognized you are consciousness, then for the electricity there are no differences, this bulb or that bulb. If we have come to the level of conscious existence, all the differences, divisions become null and void. Eyes, nose, ears, they may be separate, fighting with each other. Mind has no separate biasness for any particular sense organ. If the eye says, I know that I am the mind, but the ear doesn't know, then you have not reached the mind. See, that is why what happens many times, intellectually we are able to say, but experience is zero. Converting the intellectual understanding into conviction through reflection and through mananam. And when the conviction is firm, then the next step is lack of experience. So how the lack of experience is removed? It is done through the process of meditation. So these are the step by step. And therefore, when we keep on practicing meditation for a long period of time, again and again, again and again, one day suddenly it clicks. It may take millions of lives, it may not take even 1 second. When suppose 10 students are there and all of them want to learn music. So can you ask how the teacher, how much each student will take time to learn music? You can't ask this question. Those who are tansen, they will learn in one go. And those who are insane, there is a friend of mine, she is very good, extremely, but she doesn't have voice. But she is bent upon learning music. And her teacher, he said, Amma, I will come and teach you because you are very sincere, but you cannot learn music. So why? You don't have it. You don't have tal. You must have seen some people are so perfect. They give the tal exactly at the wrong time. I don't know how they can give that, but they do give. She is of that type. And she doesn't understand because tal cannot be taught, rhythm cannot be taught. Similarly, if you don't have voice, sare, she says every time sare gama padanis are different. Every time a particular song is taught to her, every time new tune. She can't do that. So, as we cannot tell how much time a particular student will take to learn music, in the same manner, there is no time schedule. Come here in 10 days, lose 10 kilos. You can't do like that. So you have to keep on practicing in this and all this put together. So aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupo vibhutvacha sarvatra sarvendriyanam. Vibhutvat being all pervading. So all the sense, like mind says, all the senses are in me. But I am not in any one of them. See? When the eyes are broken or destroyed for something, nothing happens to the mind. In the same manner, when the body is destroyed, nothing happens to the consciousness. Now, how can you teach it? Now, to recognize this, what kind of pranayam you have to do? See? This is only an error of judgment. So, vibhutvacha sarvatra sarvendriyanam. Through all the senses, it is the same consciousness that is peeping out as faculties. And then, therefore, nacha asangatam naiva muktir nameyaha. Therefore, I am neither attached to anything nor detached to anything. Attachment, detachment has no meaning in me, because in this absolute reality there is neither bondage nor liberation, nor knower nor not knower. This absolute Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. This conscious blissful existence alone is our essential nature, and recognizing that is the only ultimate sadhana. Therefore, friends, I will just summarize the total thought. Be attentive. See, conscious existence is causeless. Because it is causeless, you cannot ask a question why. It is like that. Now, this conscious existence expresses through any body, doesn't matter what body, where it can express as mind, then that body becomes enlivened. Consciousness is present in the living and the dead body equally. Electricity is present in the fuse and the live bulb equally. I don't see it is right. Then you put your fingers in those places and see whether it's present or not. Then what is the difference between the fuse and the other bulb? Because in the fuse bulb there is no capacity to allow the electrical energy to express as light. Now, third step. Light is useful. Only in the electricity and only in the bulb there is no light. Because light is useful, we give a status of reality to the light. Think. The reality is electricity, which is existing independent of the bulb and the expression as light. In the same manner, conscious existence, electricity, any body, bulb, and through that bulb, expression of this conscious existence as mind is light, and this mind is conducting the whole life. When the mind is unfolded, waking dream begins. When the mind is enfolded, everything is over. See? And therefore, the understanding, if it goes this way, you will not get caught up anywhere. Now, after the mind is born, then next step. What is that? Mind expresses in the body again in two ways. One as the inner controller, and second as taking the shape and the form of the body. When the mind expresses as inner controller, the physiological functions, metabolism continues. But there is no I born. Like a person in coma, metabolism and physiological functions continue, but there is no I born. Therefore, a person in coma is happy. Others are miserable. We can't see his tragedy. He is happy. Why you are miserable? To be very frank, we are miserable. Marta bhi nahi. How much bill is coming now? I don't know how to pay so much of money. See, and then we say that we can't see the torture. Such a dynamic person, just lying there. Therefore, what? Remove the lifelines. The moment the ability in the body to express the mind goes away, how much time it takes for the bulb to become lightless? A fraction of a second. In the same manner, the moment body is no more able to express as the consciousness as mind, the body is dead. And the second aspect of the mind, when the mind takes the shape of the body, I and you are born. See? So all our spiritual practice is working on this mind. And what is working on this mind? Keeping the mind formless. When the mind will remain formless, our mouth will remain shut. See? Then silence is a natural sequence. See, those who are accustomed to too much of activity, for them staying without activity is a torture. I have a friend of mine, good business, very close, and he was telling me, Swamiji, he travels so much in India because he has got a business like that. He has to go. It's all security business. So he can't tell anybody where he is going, where he is not going, to whom he is meeting, all security work. So he is constantly traveling. In a month, at least 15-20 days, he is traveling from here to there. Rest of the time, he is in the work office, and there he does the job. Again, he has to go. So he was telling me, Swamiji, many times I feel, suppose for 4, 5, 6 days, 8 days, I don't have to go anywhere. I feel suffocated in India, in my house. Because constantly running, in the same manner. Those who are constantly exposed to activities, thinking, doing japa, or anything, they cannot keep quiet. So earlier what we were told, to control the mind, keep yourself busy. Then what happens? That busyness becomes addiction. Such people are workaholics. And then they want to do this, they want to do that, but they don't have money. Then let us collect funds. See, there is no end to that. Recently, I visited a place in Gujarat on the bank of Nirvana, and one very great ashram. So I went there, visited. And that is the ashram dedicated mainly to Hatha Yoga. Asana pranayam, nothing else. So when I visited there, the manager told me that Mahatma Ji is there, you can go and take his darshan. And a very old Mahatma. So I went, and from a distance I did namaskar to him. I am not comparing or commenting, for us to learn, I am telling. So when I went there, I did namaskar, And what naturally we expect from the Mahatma about Paramatma, how are you, beta, where from you are come, take care, sadhana kaisi chal rahi hai. This is what we expect. Now, the moment I went, he started saying, oh, please sit down. I said, no. I don't go in that ashram now. I have deleted everything because I am I don't remember the things. People give money, this thing, that thing, therefore I stopped that. But I am here, but I had made all arrangements. Now I have put so much of lakhs of rupees in that bank, this much lakhs in this bank, and this much interest comes, and even if nobody comes, the ashram will keep on running, like that. I just went to take his darshan, the whole account books. What for? See? Mind gets so much obsessed with the world. That is why it is extremely necessary. Let us learn to be silent, and the more we start enjoying silence, we'll start withdrawing from the world. Withdrawal from the world is not loneliness, it is the discovery of aloneness. And when we are able to be alone without becoming lonely, we are going in the right direction. So, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om.